What's going on, hockey fans? This is episode 15 of the HSN Podcast. I'm Michael. I'm here with your host, Johnny's Antenna.
Hello.
What's going on, Johnny?
Not much. We're a man short today. Adam couldn't be on today, and we felt like we just had to get a podcast out because last week we were all busy with exams and stuff, so we just couldn't get one out last week. So today we're just pumping it out two-person.
We'll see how it goes.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Adam's always the one that moves on when me and Michael start rambling about Montreal and Toronto. So
he's a good mediator.
It might be a little off the rails today, but we'll see what happens here. I think no better place to start with the Broad Street Bullies. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh yeah, you mean the dirtiest team in the league, according to Paul Maurice, head coach of the Winnipeg Jets.
Absolutely hilarious. I think I could name 20 teams that are dirty before I'd probably get to the Leafs.
I know. I don't know what he was thinking for coming after us, but he made himself look kind of like a joke because calling the Leafs like a tough and dirty team just, kind of puts his own team down.
Just if you're realistically soft. If you're getting bodied by the Toronto Maple Leafs, that is it's just embarrassing, honestly. Like yeah, even though they've gotten tougher, but what play, like, you would know better. What exactly are you dirty for?
I think it was after the first game he said it, so I'm assuming it's about Simmons grabbing Dubois after the whistle.
When Dubois went on Jack Campbell?
But he went on Campbell, so Simmons wasn't going to let that happen.
Yeah,
I don't think Simmons in the lineup when Kachuk fell on top of Campbell. I think that's when
he might have been. But even if you're in the lineup, you can't really do anything unless you're on the ice.
Yeah, that was at the end of the game, and he was on the bench. So
yeah.
And then he even said in his post game interview, he said we can't be letting that happen. So it's a good penalty. He even said it's a good penalty to take. I'll take it again.
Campbell's been abused this year.
Yeah.
Even I think Perry's fallen on him. Perry falls on every goalie.
They can get away. They can get away with a bit more against the Leafs. So I kind of like seeing that we're toughening up. Thornton is getting dirty. I like whatever. Get dirty. I don't care. I like it.
Playoff
we haven't
jumbo.
been that team. We have to be that team in the playoffs, or else we're not going to win. So,
because even though the NHL never admits it, in the playoffs the whistles go away, and
exactly,
maybe not so much the first year, but the year you guys had Tavares, no question, you guys had a better team on paper than Boston. But Boston's just built for the playoffs and just abused you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no, Simmons. The Simmons one was whatever. I don't even think it was that one. Maybe I know Lowry got injured. What happened there?
Was that Galchenyuk? Galchenyuk threw an elbow on him, a late hit when he didn't even have the puck. So maybe it was that. And then the second game they went after Galchenyuk and
those damn bullies, the Leafs, man.
Yeah, those
bullies.
bullies.
Imagine getting pushed around by notorious goon Alex Galchenyuk.
Oh man, Chucky's my boy. I don't know whether to call him Gally or Chucky.
Yeah, I know it's weird Gulch. Because I've never heard Gulch, but I know because him and Gallagher came in at the same time, and Montreal used to have this TV show 24CH, and Galchenyuk said he was always called Gally, but since Gallagher was spent a year in the AHL, and obviously some guys came up from the AHL along with Gallagher, Gally had carried over. So they gave him Chucky, and he never liked it. He said, so he
doesn't like.
He doesn't like it because he said it always reminds him of that horror movie with that bear or whatever it is. So
his Instagram name is Gally too.
Yeah, because he was always called Gally till Gallagher had it. Mm-hmm. So he might be going by Chucky in the Leafs room. Speaking, we'll get back on Leafs in a second, but Caulfield has a nickname, and poor guy, it's Bilbo.
I don't even get that. What does that even mean?
I didn't get it either. I read the comments until I figured someone a Twitter expert would have it. Apparently in The Hobbit, there's a 4-foot something guy named Bilbo. So they're pretty much just making fun of his height.
I saw who posted a picture of them in the car, or not in the car, was it?
I think it was the bus or the plane. Maybe.
Yeah. I bet Victor Mete got a little sad seeing that. He's been replaced.
The Mint boys had to have a new addition because Mete left to Ottawa.
Has he been playing?
No, he's played every game.
Yeah.
But back to the Broad Street Bullies, or the Bay Street Bullies, technically, from Bay Street. I don't know. It's kind of, if I was a Leaf fan, I'd be pretty happy with what I'm seeing heading into playoffs, getting a little tougher. Also, notorious goon Rasmus Sandin throwing his body around.
That was a huge hit, man. 5'11" on like a 6'4" wheeler, and people are trying to call it dirty. That's a classic. That's a
It's,
reverse hit. That's
I
a
think it
clean.
was BX that said it best. That was just Blake Wheeler not knowing that like Sandin was that solid. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was BX. He said like if that was Gudas in the corner, like he would have never just went in with the one arm like little
yeah.
poke.
And man, it's fair because Wheeler was about to kill him. So
Yeah, like, but if like obviously like happy like Wheeler's not injured, but if Wheeler had got injured, I think the Jets would have been like up in
oh yeah,
arms
if
because
because
even
then Ehlers left the game later, or he got injured. He didn't leave the game, but
but like the Ehlers one, I think is the worst thing about Winnipeg. Had like the Muzzin hit, they say it was from the Muzzin hit, but like he was in discomfort after that. But then he took like 4 or 5 cross checks from Jumbo. How does no one allow that to happen? Like allow it to happen? Like it'd be the equivalent of like who's the Ehlers on
Nylander.
Nylander? Literally, like it'd be if Leafs saw Nylander. Someone had said, I don't remember who, if the Leafs fans or even Leaf players had saw Nylander taking that many hacks by like Perot on the fourth line, Leaf fans would be up in arms.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I don't understand how the Jets did nothing.
That's also another thing about the Leafs. Like I feel like that wouldn't happen anymore. I feel like even with Foligno, he only played 2 games, but like you could tell his presence was there. He would make runs across the ice, and I'm not used to seeing that from a forward. So,
Running his own guys in practice too.
yeah, you saw that with Matthews.
Yeah. Leafs are lucky that the stick is the only
Yeah,
thing that got broken.
I
Jesus,
know.
that
Oh
is
my
two
God,
big guys.
that was 2 big guys. I'm surprised it was Foligno who fell on his ass, not Matthews.
Yet again, like wishing no injuries, but could you the most Leaf thing ever would be right before the playoffs, their new addition and star player injuring each other in practice.
Oh, if they both got injured on the
That's what I'm
play,
saying. That'd be the most Leaf thing I've ever seen in my life.
yeah, that would. I'm waiting for a Leaf thing to happen because, like,
I
well,
think
I guess
there's been
uh,
some Leaf things this year, not as much as normal, but
Hyman's a big injury,
Hyman's
but
big, but
like,
he'll be back, it looks like. But
yeah, he'll be back.
so far, I'd say notorious Leaf things would be the 5-1 to Ottawa is pretty Leaf-esque.
Yeah,
I think losing to Vancouver that first game back was pretty Leaf-esque.
yeah, that's pretty Leaf. Yeah.
But not as much as normal. There's normally
Hmm.
like a point mid-season. Last year was when Babcock got fired. The year before, you guys stumbled, but it was always like a long stretch where like Leaf fans are like hanging on by like a thread where they're just like losing all hope in their team. Hasn't really
That's the
happened
thing
this
that's
year.
different about the team this year. Even during the 2 stretches where we went like lost 5 in a row, I still felt okay. Like I didn't lose another. Like when we would lose another game, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, like end of the season collapse like usual. Like honestly, both bad losing streaks we've had this year, I'm not gonna blame it all on the goaltending, but like we didn't play that bad. Like both stretches could have been saved with like just just par goaltending, and in both times it was kind of below average.
Yeah,
So
that's what I've been saying like throughout the year. Like some losses are just easier to take than like others. Like for example, like Leafs, the loss to Vancouver when Riddick was in that. Like that one, it's kind
that
of
was
like Sheldon
brutal.
Key said. He like you guys played fine. It was more just Riddick, no save Dave, poor guy,
No, yeah, no save, Dave.
just kind of let you guys down. But yeah, out of your 5 losses, I think the only concerning one might have been the first Vancouver one.
Yeah, and we got a lot of chance. We just
Yeah,
didn't
that was
barely
also
pop
just
enough.
Holtby. But
Holtby was really good too, I think.
the Montreal lost. Montreal was just a desperate team because they had lost 2 in a row. They needed that win. Then who'd you lose to?
Vancouver twice, Montreal, and
Calgary yet again, just a desperate team.
Calgary.
Was a well, yeah, it was 4 losses in a row. Like that's not even that
5.
bad.
Yeah, 5.
It's just like I think the Leafs might just be not even like it's bad thing. Just might be getting comfortable, kind of like they're pretty much
Hmm.
solidified in the first place team spot. But when like they're playing like Montreal or like when they played Calgary, that time like Calgary was desperate. Vancouver's desperate for now. See if they can hold on. But Leafs kind of just full steam ahead into the playoffs.
I hope we can get rolling to go into the playoffs because usually and that's not how it is for us.
Yeah.
And Tavares is heating up too. He's been huge. Matthews has been good. Marner's been good. Now they have Foligno. Sandin's coming in. Hopefully that helps set off the Bogosian injury. Hope he's back though, because we need his physicality for the playoffs.
When let's say Bogosian's healthy for game 1, are you taking out Sandin or Dermott?
No, 100% Dermott, dude. Sandin's been unreal. Like, he's been better than Riley. Like, Riley's been our worst defenseman night in, night out this whole season.
It's a bold take.
I know at the beginning of the year, you and Adam were tripping me about his defensive play, but honestly, it's like worse than it ever's been in his career. And like, I don't know if he's playing injured, but he can't skate anymore. He's not fast.
I think it's just the classic case of Riley let's be honest, Riley hasn't had a good defenseman partner. And who's his best defensive partner he's ever had? Probably Ron Hainsey.
It honestly is Hainsey.
I think it's just he's made, like, we've seen him make mistakes like me and Adam pointed out at the start of the year. But I think Leaf fans were just like, look who he's playing with. But now that Brody's just there, who's like doesn't make mistakes really, like doesn't leave Riley out to dry, kind of like his other partners would have. I think it's more just Riley's getting the brunt of the blame on that pairing instead of Brody, because Brody's not doing anything. Like you're saying last year, if Riley and Ceci were on for a goal against, any Leaf fan was blaming Riley.
No, and Ceci's had a good year too, honestly. So
yeah, but that's because he's slotted into the right spot now. He's on the third pairing, making $700K. Like, you can't complain about those guys.
Yeah, like if Bogosian was on the top pair, I don't know if he'd be as good as he has been for us. But on the bottom pair, that's where he should be. He's been amazing. So
yeah, like everyone loves Bogosian. If he's on the first pair making 4.7 like Ceci did last year, or on his Buffalo contract, I'm sure he's not loved as much.
Yeah.
So just move on to Montreal in a second, but just before, I just got a couple questions I'm curious for your opinion on. Let's say playoffs start today. It's whatever, May 15th or whatever. Starting goalie for the Leafs game 1 is?
This is the thing. It all depends on if Anderson can get in games before the season ends, and I don't see how it's physically possible under the cap.
If Brandon Pridham frees up $5.5 million, I'm actually gonna lose my mind.
I think right now we have like $2 million cap space around, like roughly. I don't know for sure.
That's because Bogosian's on LTIR though.
No, did he go on LTIR?
I think so.
I think just at the end of the deadline, we had like over $1 million cap space to use because of Anderson. But actually, I don't know if he comes off.
Still, $3.5 million. Where are you getting? Like, I'd actually
you're gonna have to send Kerfoot to the taxi squad. That's not happening though.
But even if you send Kerfoot down, it's like, no, you actually can't send Kerfoot down, because trust me, I've become a cap expert now from reading up on Montreal's cap situation.
On Caulfield?
Yeah, pretty much. Anyone that was not on the taxi squad by the trade deadline cannot be on the taxi squad now.
Yeah, so Anderson's not getting in games.
So you can't send Kerfoot down. Like Montreal, for people that say is stalled, they can't send Stahl down. Like, so the only people like Montreal have, for example, I don't know the Leafs, is Romanov, who we already sent down to get Caulfield in the emergency, and Byron, who they just refused to send down. But another question I have, actually, you answered the Sandin one.
I'll answer because I still answer.
Sorry.
I'm honestly, if I'm Sheldon Keefe, I'm starting Jack Campbell, just because of the run he's been on. He's been great. You have to start him. You have to give him at least game 1. If he does something to lose us the game, you can go back to Anderson. But we know what Anderson's done in the playoffs in the past. What's different now, especially coming off injury? He's cold. He won't be better than he was against Columbus.
He never starts a year good anyway.
Yeah.
And like that backed up too, like even in like the bubble when people were like, oh, like the Leafs' concern is that Freddie never starts on time. People were like, oh, but this is the playoffs, different mentality.
But if I'm talking mentality, I'm taking Campbell any day of the week because I feel like he's the type of goalie you want in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the only thing, like, my only concern with Campbell, and like I've seen some Leaf media say it, is he gets hard on himself, and you can't have that in the playoffs. Yeah, he's super hard on himself. Like,
but I feel like that's after the game. He's hard on himself.
But still, like,
even during he battles.
Yeah, but like the Montreal game, when this guy blamed himself for losing, if it wasn't for Jack Campbell, it would have been like 4-0 at the end of the first.
Oh, I thought you meant last year when Kovalchuk scored the game winner.
No, but yeah, that one too, he blamed himself. We'll show you guys like 18-1 in that third period.
Yeah, that was like his second game as a Leaf.
Jack Campbell's just, you don't want to see Big Save Dave start?
No. He's not starting.
I was thinking.
It's either him or Anderson.
It'd be so funny if the last 2 years Calgary made the playoffs. I wish Adam could back me up on this. Big Save Dave probably played 60% of their regular season games in both years, and both times for whatever reason, going into game one, he was snubbed. Like they went with Smith and then they went with Talbot.
And then just rode the
And then
Smith
like
Talbot.
he never played either of those series except for like maybe 20 minutes in the eliminating game in Dallas. Imagine his first playoff start comes with the Leafs where he just all of a sudden gets named the starter out of nowhere, like how
That'd be
Smith and
crazy.
Talbot kind of did. But so you think it's gonna be Jack Campbell?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Or just imagine going back like to the start of the season and saying Montreal and Toronto are gonna meet in the playoffs most likely, and your starting goalies are Jack Campbell versus Jake Allen.
But didn't I
Because
tell you at the beginning of the season I could see Jack Campbell becoming the starter?
yeah, I think maybe it's just more the Jake
I
Allen.
kind of meant that for next year, though. I honestly didn't see it happening this year.
I don't know. Freddie's had a rough year.
Yeah, but I feel bad, honestly, because of his injury. Like, maybe that's why he was playing bad. But
I don't know, but we'll move on, I guess, to Montreal.
What was your next question? You had one more, no?
What did I have? Oh, who's the odd man out at forward?
That's a big question because they expect Riley Nash to come back.
And he has to play. He has to play.
And if him and Hyman come back, Brooks is definitely one that's out, but I don't know the second.
Who's out right now? Just Nash. Is Robertson playing still, or is he out already?
Robertson's not playing right now. It's Brooks over him.
Brooks.
I honestly don't know who comes out.
Engvall's already out, right?
Engvall's out, yeah.
Who? Maybe Nash doesn't get in.
But wait, who is it? It's Nash and Hyman. So Brooks for Nash. Let's say that because it's a center move. If Hyman comes in and a winger comes out, or I mean, if Nash doesn't go in, then you move Spezza to the center. But I think Spezza is better on the wing, and then just takes the odd face off here and there. I don't know who comes out though, because you can't take out Jumbo.
It would have been him, I think, up until recently.
It would have been him or Simmons, but they're both playoff players. You can't take them out. Unless Thornton plays like Thornton and Nash, like they kind of switch. I don't know, depending on the opponent.
Maybe not. I think if anything, maybe Nash would be dependent on the opponent. Like how you just said, like if it's Montreal, like maybe you don't play Nash because like you don't really need that like solid defensive center.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's like an Edmonton or a Winnipeg that's more like offense oriented. But the Leafs have so many question marks. Like it'll be like lineup wise, it'll be interesting to see.
Chucky better stay in though, man.
Yeah, like he was even for a while like one of the guys that they said, oh, maybe we'll come out.
He still is because, well, actually, I don't think so.
Where is he now?
He's still on the second. He's second line with Tavares, but just because of Dubas's comments at the deadline saying that because of him they didn't have to trade for a top six like offensive forward, kind of makes me think that he's gonna stay. He's still really like good. He hasn't really fallen off, but I just needed to see him bury more chances. I still feel like he could be that player for us. That's just like a Kapanen. Kapanen would score some big goals for us in the playoffs. So I think Galchenyuk could do that in the playoffs.
So anyway, that is now the end.
Who Galchenyuk still does not have a goal against. That's the only team he hasn't scored against.
I think he'll get one soon because
tomorrow.
Let's say
how many games left?
We have 4 left in the season. Then imagine if the playoffs like goes to 7. That's 11 games in like the next month.
Can't wait, man.
Even like imagine if it was the old schedule before like all the COVID adjustments. It would have been 3 games in a row to end the year, plus then the start of the playoffs. That would have been 10 games if it went to 7.
Have Toronto and Montreal even played each other back to back yet? I think we've always had a different team.
We've always had no. I think
maybe once.
I don't think they've ever played back to back. No team in between. I think once. Montreal's technically had back to back. Because we played you guys 3 times in a row technically at one point, but it was spaced out. We played you on a Wednesday, then we played you on a Wednesday, then we played Edmonton Thursday, played you on the Saturday. That was a back-to-back.
You had a break.
It was the back-to-back again for you guys though, not us.
Yeah.
And then we played you that Saturday, then the following week we played coming off our bye, but you had a whole week of games in between. But what was I gonna say about I was gonna say something about the Habs Leafs.
The games remaining?
Pardon?
The games remaining?
No, I can't remember now, but my mood, if I remember, I'll say it, but my mood on Montreal was on first podcast was solely going to be dependent on the last night's game. But now the fact that they've won, I feel pretty solidified in our playoff position. because David Amber tweeted out the numbers you need to know. So if Montreal just goes 4-5 in their remaining 9, that will give them 59 points to end the season, which isn't even great. It's 59 points. But for Calgary to get to 59 points, they have to go 7-1. And for Vancouver to get to 59 points, they have to go 9-5. So if anything,
Vancouver definitely has a better chance. Calgary,
I think Calgary's out. Adam, I'll speak for Adam here. He when we were texting before the series, like the 3-game series that started, he knew Calgary had to win all 3. The game that really hurts Calgary fans, probably, just like from my opinion, was probably not even the one that they lost last night. Probably the one from last week. We played them last Friday night, and we just got fully outplayed. But Toffoli just nipped twice. I actually like Tyler Toffoli. God, he's just so good. He's just so good. I just don't understand. Like, it's definitely just a career year that'll never be matched again. But it's just so good.
Because you guys haven't had that goal scorer since, like, even Pacioretty, like, yeah, he scored. Did he score 40? I think once.
He never got 40. He got like 39.
Maybe 39. But since he left, like, you guys haven't had a goal scorer that consistently scored. With Top Titty Toffoli just scores almost every night. Like,
in Pacioretty's defense, he had David Descharnais as his center. So, like, the fact that he was even getting 39 might just say how good he actually was.
Yeah.
But no, that Toffoli's just been. I think Marc Bergevin, when he added, I think if he told Montreal, just not even Marc Bergevin, just Montreal in general, that they're going to add like the 2 guys that are going to lead their team in goals between Toffoli and Anderson, I think they'd be a lot higher up than 4th in the North. It's just the remaining core from like the last couple of years has just absolutely dropped the ball.
Because Tatar usually good for 20.
Tatar had 61 points last year in 68 games.
Yeah.
It's pretty much point per. He's just having a year. Danault's having an year.
How many goals does Danault have now?
Like 4.
And he had 0. Like,
yeah, he's playing a lot better now. I can't
majority
complain.
Of the season.
But he's also just so good defensively. Like, it's hard to even when he wasn't scoring, it's just hard to complain about Danault. Like, he just smothers like the people 5-on-5. Drouin's just such a bad year.
That must be really frustrating, man.
It's just such a bad. He has 2 goals. Thank God.
I don't know, because I don't know how you have 2 goals.
It's just like
top 6, like.
And you can tell he's fed up with it too, because like the media keeps asking him like every game. He's injured now, but every game, or sick, whatever. Every game he was playing, the media would ask him the same question, like how like his frustrating is this. And then someone said like, you've only contributed 2 goals, like what's wrong? And he's like, there's a stat on the right too, like implying that he leads the team in assists.
Oh,
which is a valid point. Like, he does lead the team in assists, but like,
it is. But if you're Jonathan Drouin getting paid $5.5 million,
I get you have 20 assists, and like that leads us. It probably doesn't even lead us anymore. It led us at the time. Like, you gotta at least have 5 goals. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for 5.
Dude, Thornton has 4 goals.
It's not good. It's also just because he doesn't shoot. Like, I'd actually be curious how much he shoots. Because it's not often.
The Habs game I have watched, he like, passes shoot in the slot. Like,
like what I swear it was the Leafs. He had like the puck wide open and he passed to Anderson.
Josh Anderson.
Yeah, like.
And Josh Anderson wasn't expecting it, but now
so then he like whiffed on it. But yeah, Drouin's been frustrating.
Expecting it.
Gallagher had a good year. He's never complained about Gallagher. Kotkaniemi and Suzuki have like rotated, being good and being So
they're never on at the same time.
They're never on at the same time, and that's frustrating as well.
Especially because they're 2 out of the top 3 centers.
Yeah, like Suzuki started off like unreal. Then Kotkaniemi was better, but now like Suzuki's kind of playing better again. But it is interesting. All I know is Cole Caulfield better stay in the lineup.
How do you play?
Play pretty good, honestly. Like, he had
I only watched like 10 minutes because of the blackout. Like,
the blackout.
Did you? I don't think. Like, we talk about it a lot, but I haven't really heard it from the media up until yesterday when everyone wanted to watch Caulfield. That was a huge game. Yeah, how do you know how? Like, how? I was like, for sure this one's gonna be on. But I guess
it's like, it's a blue chip prospect playing in one of like the biggest hockey markets, so that's just big right there. Like, it's like for Canada. It's also a huge game of the season. Like, the stretch run should just be nationally televised games.
Yeah, but I even feel bad just for Habs fans, because you know how many Habs fans are from Toronto.
Yeah, no, we just have to stream it. It's.
Yeah, I pulled up the stream for like 10 minutes before I went out.
No, he played pretty good. He was on the first line. played good. Just had one mistake, kind of ran into Gustafsson, gave them a breakaway, but defensive god John Merrill got back.
Has he been good?
Merrill's been good. Merrill doesn't have an offensive bone in his body, but he's decent. And then
Maybe
Gustafsson.
That's why they paired him with Gustafsson.
Yeah, because then Gustafsson doesn't have a defensive bone in his body, but he has
they're a good match.
He has 2 points in 3 games so far.
But who's the odd man out now? Because you lost
Romanov and Kulak.
They're both sitting?
Romanov's sitting right now because they had to sit Romanov last game because since the problem with these like day-to-day injuries are they still count against the cap. And Montreal, the 2 games they lost to Calgary, they played 11 forwards, and then one of them, Tatar, got injured. So they were down to 10 forwards for like half the game. So last night, they just dressed 12 forwards, but that fit Caulfield and Evans. They had to send down Romanov.
So what's your decor going to the playoffs?
I'm hoping Romanov just comes right back up. But I don't know.
Romanov for who?
They have too many of like the same guys now.
Yeah.
They look
Romanov's one of the only defensemen you have that can move the puck. So he definitely has to be
even like I like Gustafsson because Gustafsson's pretty good on the power play. Like he has, like I said, he had 2 assists on the power play Saturday night. Like he's pretty solid. I just don't I think it's just their issue is Edmondson's been good, but Edmondson and Sherrod are the exact same player.
Yeah.
We didn't need 2 of them, but those are the big good defensemen that help you win in the playoffs.
Isn't Kulak kind of like that too?
No, Kulak's a puck moving defenseman. He's pretty good at moving the puck. He's
defensive though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's defensive, but like he's pretty good at moving the puck. He's just an analytical darling, I think. That's why people like him.
Who does Weber play with now?
Sherrod.
Right? And then Edmondson, Petrie?
Yeah. I think, Sherrod, I don't even think Sherrod was in the lineup last time he played you guys. I think he had just come back the next game, but big game tomorrow night between our 2 teams, pretty much, unless an 18-wheeler, as Brian Burke says, falls off the cliff. Pretty much a playoff preview.
I don't know, man. Johnny, are we going to be friends during that week?
I don't know.
At the playoffs round during the 2 weeks.
It's definitely going to put a strain because like we get pretty heated during regular season games. So like I just can't even imagine.
And like tomorrow's game could have been Caulfield versus Robertson.
It might be like just one.
Guys just aren't playing each other. Like there's always something. They played each other in the minors, I guess. But
and Caulfield just wiped the floor with Robertson.
Yeah, but Robertson's probably not going to play tomorrow.
I don't think Caulfield's going to. I think if both are back, Caulfield won't play. Honestly, like as bad, Byron and Druin are out. So
you think they take out Caulfield?
They have to. He's on emergency recall.
Oh, so they'd have to use the 4th to permanently put.
But then see now, like this is why I'm saying like Montreal's chasing me because since they've sent down Romanov, they're gonna have to choose between Caulfield and Romanov.
So only one of those guys is playing.
Only one of those guys can get called up unless Byron or Druin's out for the year, pretty much.
But in the playoffs, these call up the 4 call-ups.
The call-ups don't matter. Then both can play in the playoffs.
Oh, in the playoffs.
But like. I don't even know what Montreal's going to look like in the playoffs, considering, too, like, they're going to have Gallagher back for game 1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
who's on the 4th line right now?
Lehkonen will probably get out.
I put Byron. Byron and Lehkonen are kind of similar, but I'd put Byron just because he's faster.
But I'm hoping neither of them is in the lineup.
Really? You don't like Byron? I feel like Byron always scores against the Leafs. I don't know why.
I don't know. Like, I'm hoping our lineup in the playoffs something like Tatarjan, Gallagher, Suzuki, Druin, Anderson again. Bring the line back together. Then it's Kotkaniemi, Toffoli, Caulfield, Perry, Stahl, Armia.
Perry's been really good. I don't want to verse that guy in the playoffs.
Oh, the worm? He's just going to be an absolute prick. Like, he was just abusing the Tampa Bay guys in the finals last year.
Him and Simmons got to drop the mitts.
Nah, Perry's not a goon like that.
He'll fight.
He fights, but he won't. I don't want him fighting Simmons. Perry's not a goon.
He's good at fights, though. What do you mean?
Yeah, he's good at fights, but still, like the only guy I'd want fighting Simmons on our team is like Edmondson.
They're gonna say Sherrod. They've already fought though.
Sherrod doesn't win a fight. Even if Sherrod wins the fight, like against JT Miller, he loses the fight because he breaks his hand.
Breaks the hand or changes the momentum in the game. That guy should just stay away from.
Like like the Simmons fight was still so aggravating. But I think when Adam's not here, we just talk about our teams for way too long.
Yeah. How
So
much time has
I
passed?
don't even know, but if you're a fan of any other team and you thought your team was going to get talked about today, I apologize. There's probably so much storylines. We didn't even mention how we've touched on it in like the Toronto aspect, but congratulations to Vancouver on coming back from COVID and
Oh yeah,
actually
so
playing
that's
pretty
huge.
decent, a
Yeah,
lot
they've
better
been
than
good.
people thought. Obviously, the
They've been better
NHL,
than before they got COVID.
kind of, yeah. But yeah, see, like we didn't even mention that. Like we just McDavid might hit 100 points, but if it's not Montreal or Toronto, we ain't mentioning it today.
Dude, McDavid's insane.
Yeah,
The
McDavid's
gap
gross.
this guy has on the second place points on the
Are you
second
nervous to catch Matthews
catch Matthews on what
in
goals?
goals?
He's
What's the
like 8
gap?
away.
No, he scored a hattie last night.
Oh, I haven't checked after last night. Yeah, but wasn't that
Oh,
his 28th? The third. I swear I did check.
oh, he only has
Let me
28,
check. Let me
maybe.
check. 28 and 34. He's 6 away. Dude, Matthews is the GOAT at goal scoring.
Look at my boy Toffoli in fourth. What a
Yeah,
god!
Toffoli. That's fucking, that's huge, man. What a
I can't
signing.
believe this.
He sat in free agency for 3 days.
He scored in 4 straight. He scored in every game against Calgary.
So
He's
what's
just,
next on the
I don't even know. We'll touch on Calgary quick, pretending for Adam. There's just a lot of questions. I think Calgary has more questions than answers right now because I was hearing some good points like brought up after the loss. They're pretty much done. I think Calgary fans would admit that. But now the thing is, how do they build this team going forward? Because they're probably gonna make some changes to the core. Don't know how drastic they'll be, but they'll probably make some changes. But then also, I don't know who said it. It might have been Jeff O'Neill on Overdrive. How do they build this team going forward? Because realistically, Daryl Sutter's not going to be there for the next 5+ years, just with his age and everything. So you don't want to bring too many Daryl Sutter players in that play like that defensive trap system, because like when he's gone, then they're gonna have to retool the team for the new coach again.
Yeah, you
Plus,
have to tailor the players to the players to the coach because that's what's been Calgary's problem. And I even told Adam at the deadline. I mean, sorry, when they hired him, I said I feel like they rushed this process because I don't think they interviewed that many coaches.
no,
Like no coaches.
they definitely
They
just
definitely
brought
just
in.
chose Sutter. Like it starts from the top management. They definitely just said, okay, look at this guy. He's won a few cups, but his style of play is. You could say like defensive style of play will always be in the
Important.
game. It'll always be important, but the thing is, as these players
Get better.
grow up, play hockey, get better, they just get more skilled. So the new style of hockey has to cater the players. The players can't cater to the old style of hockey. So Calgary has a lot of those players. Goudreau, Mangiapane, like Lindholm is skilled. Kachuk, even though he plays hard, he's a skilled guy. Like they could, like they're defensive, but at the same time, how many guys are you gonna bring in that could play for Daryl Sutter? I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying. Like they're probably going to be a very fascinating team in the offseason too, because like just I'm so curious as to like what are they going to do? Like, are they just going to say this was because they made the playoffs the last 2 years, even though they went on the first round, but like are they going to say this was just an off year, stuff didn't go our way, yada yada yada, different division, and we'll just go back in the Pacific next year? Because I think they're a top three. I honestly can't remember the old divisions, but I'm pretty sure they'd be a top 3 team in the Pacific.
Yeah, but it's not just about the season. Like I don't see Calgary as a team that could go far in the playoffs.
See, but that's where I would actually kind of disagree. I would disagree that they're probably. I think if Calgary made the playoffs with Daryl Sutter, they'd be a difficult team to play against. Like look
Okay,
at
yeah,
his
maybe
LA
with Daryl
teams.
Sutter. Yeah,
Like
maybe with Daryl
in the
Sutter.
playoffs, those 1-goal games, like Daryl Sutter hockey's built for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's also just it's boring though. That's what I gotta say. It's effective. Like they're like when it works, it's effective, but it's boring to watch. Like those Montreal Calgary games. Like I can say this now, kind of the Montreal at least won one, so it doesn't sound like as salty as it would have if they beat us all 3. But those games were boring.
In the playoffs, though, I feel like no game is boring. Like the same with
Yeah, because of the
Islanders
intensity.
play boring hockey too, but their playoff series have been good the
Yeah,
past.
Islander games were like regular. Like I'm saying during the regular season, these games are boring.
Yeah,
Kind
they're
of.
boring. Yeah.
I don't know who said it. It was like someone said it was like if you switched from the Calgary Montreal game to Winnipeg Edmonton, which was on like right after, it was like going from beer league to the NHL. That's just the pace of play. Because
Winnipeg Edmonton will be a good series.
that'll be good. It's just gonna be all series are gonna be good. Even like I hope it's lined up so that like those East Division matchups aren't on the same time as like Montreal, Toronto, because those East Division matchups are just going to be appetizing, especially if it's like Boston, Pittsburgh, between Boston, Pittsburgh, Washington, and Islanders. There's no bad matchup there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be good. But yeah, Calgary, interesting moves going forward. I'm sure Adam will say we said everything wrong about them in the next episode when he hears us talk about them. But in the soccer world, this is more for when if we had the podcast last week, which we did, and obviously the Super League that was like almost formed, and like the guy that formed it's still saying it's not dead, like whatever, they're still going to make it happen, like it's what soccer needed. So everyone's been doing this with like every league, but let's say the NHL, just some teams are like, this NHL thing, screw it, build a Super League. First question, we'll work through this together because I don't have a list of 10 teams either. Like we'll pull up our standings on our phone and look at teams, but like what team would be the Real Madrid and start the Super League?
Oh, was it a team who like first?
Yeah, like
joined?
the Real Madrid owner is the guy that like talked to everyone about starting it. So what team owner or just team would start the Super League?
I feel like it would be the Habs.
I thought it might be the Leafs.
No, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that
I thought the Leafs are the Rangers.
The Leafs are the Rangers.
Because it's got to be one of the big spending teams that like are respected money wise.
Yeah, but that all are also greedy and just want to go for money.
Yeah,
so
that's
maybe,
why
I don't know. Maybe
MLSE is pretty greedy.
Anyway,
I think it's MLSE.
Yeah, I don't know who's the Habs owner. Molson?
Yeah, I don't know. Molson doesn't like he's greedy, but I don't know. Because I feel like I don't know. Maybe Montreal. So, but we can all agree. Like, I think the three teams we named would all be in it: Toronto, Montreal.
I think all the
Rangers.
I think the original six would have to be in it.
I don't know.
Add to that Detroit, Boston.
I'm saying maybe you take out Detroit. I don't know if I'd have. If you just had 10 teams, like I don't know if you'd have Detroit. I might get hated on that, but I don't know if you have Detroit.
Is it because it's all the best teams, the Super League?
Well, right now it's best teams, but also just like you gotta think about like financial teams and like I don't know. I don't think Detroit's in there for me because you gotta think it's only 10 teams, so you gotta be selective. So, but 5 out of the 6 we'll say for sure. Michael's internet is just on a mad one right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on.
So we have 5 out of 6 teams, we'll say. Then I think you gotta put Tampa Bay in there.
Yeah.
You gotta put 10 teams is hard in hockey.
And because LA is a financial team, they're like a big market.
But they're not good right now.
Yeah, they're not good right now, so it's hard. It's hard to do.
Let's just work from the bottom down here and eliminate Buffalo, Anaheim, New Jersey, Columbus, Ottawa, Vancouver, all not in it. Sorry.
Yeah.
San Jose is not in it. Arizona's not in it. Philly, like off their history, maybe. But like
they got a good fan base.
They're decent now.
They're shit now. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they had a bad year.
Sorry, any Philly fans, but
I'd say you gotta have Vegas in there.
Yeah, Vegas.
So we'll say that's 7. See, but then a team like Edmonton, I think you gotta have them in there just because like you cannot have the greatest player. So throw Edmonton in there.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, would you throw in? I'd throw then you got Pittsburgh.
Because Crosby, they were a dynasty.
Maybe you take out Chicago. Like it's hard.
Oh, Chicago! Like Chicago's a big market. Like it's hard with hockey.
It's hard with because hockey is like you're just eliminating 2/3 of the league. Like even then, like because the thing about soccer is all the big teams are big markets and big financial, and like the best teams, like Carolina is a great team right now, but I don't think they'd be in a Super League.
No, and it also wouldn't make sense for hockey because there's only 31 teams as is. Like soccer,
the NHL is the Super League in hockey. It's just
the NHL is the Super League.
It's pretty much just if 10 teams are like, oh, we don't win Stanley Cups, let's move into our own league.
If it was like that, it would be like Toronto, Florida Panthers, Ottawa Senators.
That's another thing you bring up. Ottawa, a team that's not that good right now, but it's gonna be sick in the future. What do you just bring them in the Super League when they're fully developed?
Yeah.
Well, then we can continue this. This was also going to be something we talked about. Should the NHL have like a form of relegation? Because I think
that up, though, Larry.
It was a player, right? It was a player. Like I'll see if I can find it and like see his thought process. But like it's pretty interesting because you got to think North America like leagues are the only leagues that don't have a form of like relegation. And I will admit, like,
I think he said it for the ECHL to AHL though.
yeah, here. So I'll read you his quotes. I don't know if it was quotes or tweets, but he said the AHL, ECHL are dead ends for a majority of players. They don't get many shots in Europe due to promotion/relegation systems. So many star players from lower leagues come. Imagine the ECHL's top scorer getting signed by an AHL team attempting promotion. In 3 years, you're in the NHL. There wouldn't be as many bad teams. You're rewarded for fielding a terrible team. Why stop? With a three league system, you get so many small markets that can grow to become as big clubs such as Leicester City. Leicester City, obviously, were a small market, got promoted from the championship. Then in their first season in the Premier League, the top division in England, avoided relegation by like a point or two. And in the next year, at 3,000 to 1 odds, won the Premier League. It's like the greatest sporting thing, greatest underdog like to hit or whatever the terminology is. But he's saying it would grow. And he's just saying, so then he compared it to like, I think they're an AHL team, the San Diego Gulls, getting promoted to the NHL and then winning the cup. So like,
so he is saying promoted to NHL as well. So
yeah,
I like the thought
it's
process.
interesting.
But the only thing that it is interesting. The only thing I don't understand how it would work is that with soccer, you're your own team, right? Even if you're in another league. But in hockey, you share the same, like the Leafs and the Marlies share the same system of players.
That's why, as good as of an idea it is, I don't think it could ever happen because it would have to like they'd have to disband the NHL and pretty much start from scratch. Because
it's systematic. You have to start. It's a whole thought process that
even then like the point of when you started is so like crucial because like let's say they said going into the season that just started, they're going to start it right now. I guarantee you Ottawa, Buffalo would object because they know they're probably going to get relegated. And then let's say in the Ottawa example or Buffalo, for example, you're sending down Jack Eichel to the AHL, like the second league, because that's what someone replied saying. So if Edmonton finishes second last because let's say McDavid's injured, McDavid would go down to the AHL for a year. How would that sell the game? And then the guy replies to in 2005 or 6. Juventus got caught basically for cheating, paying the refs. So they got sent down. They won the Serie A, but they got sent down to Serie B. So the guy replied, if Juventus got relegated, but every star player like Buffon, Del Piero, they all stayed and they won the league and they won like the Serie B and just came right back up. So he's pretty much implying that. But that's not good for the game. Like imagine McDavid in the AHL.
Dude, how many points would McDavid in the AHL get?
Imagine an 82 game
over McDavid, 300, man. Over 300.
He'd absolutely and like see like would those count as NHL points?
No, that's the thing.
He would never like Ovechkin would never catch Gretzky because Ovechkin would probably be relegated at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit though, North America now that like I've watched a lot of like European soccer like over the last couple of years, it is weird just how like North America rewards you for coming last. Like the Leafs would have been relegated in 2015.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Because of the draft system, a lot of leagues don't even have that.
And then how do you work out the draft? Like it could just never happen. Because then how do you like? Is it going to be like in soccer where you buy like academy players, but then all the best like the Leafs, Montreal, Rangers will just control the market on all these players. Every French Canadian kid would be on Montreal.
Yeah, every kid grew up a Leaf fan.
The Leafs would have
McDavid would be a Leaf. Tavares would have been a Leaf.
They would just corner them because that's how it is. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold going back to soccer, grew up in Liverpool, came through the Liverpool system, so he's on Liverpool. And he's like the best right back right now. That would just be how it would be. Like it'd be pretty.
But I've said that to our whole time we've been friends. Like that's why I don't like soccer in the way that those leagues are. I like the North American way of the leagues. Like
the parity we see in the NHL right now wouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Because once like a team becomes bad, like let's say Edmonton got relegated because McDavid missed X amount of time during the season and like they couldn't survive without him. McDavid wouldn't stay in the AHL. He'd get bought or traded to another team.
Yeah.
And then Edmonton would just kind of be ruined as a franchise because even like that loyalty that was showed to Juventus is an extreme situation because Juventus got relegated for cheating, but the players denied cheating, and as like a show of unity that they didn't cheat, they stayed on Juventus to say like, okay, we'll tear up the second division and come right back up and win the league again, which they did.
Yeah.
Now they've won it for like 10 years in a row up until this season. That won't happen in the AHL, in the NHL.
And in hockey, even though you get like a top draft pick for coming last, I don't think that's like as rewarding as like it sounds like it is, because look at Buffalo. How many top picks have they had? They're still bad.
It's a lot of misses. It's
yeah.
like, I think people use maybe the Leafs example of like they were bad, but that was the Leafs. Like, if you think about it, the Leafs got lucky in the term of like the 3-year window they were bad.
Yeah,
Like,
because Marner was a solid pick at 4.
yeah, they took Strome right ahead of him.
We could have messed that one up, but even the players like below Marner were good. Like Hanifin, we could have took Hanifin. We would have had a good defenseman, but hitting on Marner was huge. Matthews, you can't mess that one up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's different, like, first overall pick, it varies year to year. Like, let's say who's first overall pick the year after Matthews? Nico Hischier. The Leafs wouldn't be where they are if they got Nico Hischier instead of Matthews. So like, if they were bad 1 year worse, even like just the luck of Matthews being born like 2 days late.
Yeah, he would have been in the
McDavid draft.
Yeah,
probably would have went second.
Yeah.
Then I could be in Arizona, and Strome would probably be on the Leafs, and then the Leafs would look a lot different.
And
you'd have Line.
Matthews would be in Buffalo. See, like, even though like Matthews was a player that like completely revolted the Leafs franchise, but like, would he do the same for Buffalo? Because
Jack Eichel's there. Jack Eichel's not that much worse than Matthews.
Exactly.
When fully healthy, probably around the same skill set. Matthews.
Exactly. So we got lucky with the draft, but at the same time, Shanahan, we got lucky with Shanahan coming in.
The Shanahan plan.
Dude, Shanahan was the biggest thing that ever happened to this team, honestly. He changed everything.
Everyone thought Babcock was like the white knight. It was really Shanahan. The Shanahan plan is just what propelled the Leafs into stopping.
Because Babcock did help us like the first 3 years he was here. So he brought in Babcock. He brought in Marleau. He brought in a bunch of supporting cast for all the new players and stuff.
I've been seeing on Twitter, the Leafs have a documentary series this year.
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I saw it on Twitter like a couple days ago.
Amazon Prime.
Like it was like, what was it? It was like something that happened. They're like, it was like, it was poking fun at Paul Maurice again. It was like, wow, it's crazy of Amazon to run a documentary on the Broad Street Bullies. And I was like, what? Then I Googled it. It's like the All for Nothing. They did one on the Cowboys a couple of years ago. This is the first NHL team they've done. They're pretty good. Like, they're really in depth. Like, they get like in there.
I can't wait. How many like episodes was the Cowboys one?
Like 10, but the NFL season's a lot shorter.
Wow. And you know what? Like, there has to be a reason why they chose they chose this year to do it for the Leafs. I'm telling you, we're winning the cup, Johnny. It's happening.
I think they did it. I don't know who's. I think then I heard about it again on. I think I heard on this Steve Dangle's podcast. I think he said it's probably they chose this year because like financial too. Like it's probably at least probably getting a nice payday for this.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the Dallas one because it stopped before the playoffs. Like because Dallas didn't make the playoffs that year. I wonder if it continues through the playoffs because sometimes like documentaries stop.
No, it should be
like when Montreal used to do that documentary I mentioned at the start, the 24-CH, it would stop at the playoffs because then there was no cameras allowed in the locker room.
I thought the 24 isn't that for the Winter Classic?
That's 24/7. Like there was this ran thing. It ran for like 4 years on TSN. That it was like an all in-depth documentary. From
honestly, I can't see Amazon screwing this one up. Like I can't leave out the playoffs.
Yeah,
especially if it's the Leafs. Like
it'd be weird. Like you'd watch the season.
If the Leafs, if they better make a big run, like that's gonna be the best documentary I've ever watched in my life. Dude, if they win the cup, I'm watching that documentary every week for the rest of my life. You know how much
memes there will be if they lose in the first round from just like the locker room after the deciding game.
Oh my god, it's gonna be brutal. Especially the Habs. This is the year where if we have to win a first round, it's this year. I'm not losing to the Habs 5 first rounds in a row.
It's the first time they've met since 1979. You know what happened in 1979?
The Habs won.
The Habs swept the Leafs and won the Stanley Cup.
I can't see that happening this year though.
If Montreal won the series, I'd be happy and I'd talk obviously a lot. But if the Habs, like if it was just a sweep for whatever reason, like I might remove my number from your phone.
If you guys
Like I'm
sweep
saying, if we
us,
somehow sweat, we won't. No matter which
no.
way the series goes, it's going like 6 or 7. And
The
I
Leafs
think,
only know 7 games or
yeah, that's
game
true.
5 last year, and then game
The Leafs
7
only
they
know
lost.
deciding games.
Yeah, it's crazy. I hope this year's the year where it's like, okay, no, we gotta start shutting these series out early.
But this would also actually no. Technically, you guys were home last year. I was gonna say this would be the first year you'd be home for like the deciding game. But I think you were the home team against Columbus technically.
No bias, I could honestly see this series going how the Leafs in Washington want to win. Like every game was close. I think
Yeah.
5 out of 6 games went to overtime that series, but they won. They beat us in 6. I think Leafs could beat the Habs in 5 or 6, even though each game would be close. I
See,
just feel like when it comes down to it, third period, overtime, I feel like the Leafs are going to come out on top.
right now, like 2 weeks out from the playoffs or 2.5, whatever, it's just so hard to predict because like we don't know who the starting goaltenders are going to be because we don't know who the Leafs goalie is going to be. Price has a concussion right now, and those are anything but certain on like a hard date of when the person will return. And from what I've heard, he's not progressing well. So like it's just so hard to pick.
It's harder for the Habs because Price is always going. It has always been the Habs' best player in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's just like I think Montreal's best chance of winning in the playoffs against like the Leafs is just we need a Carey Price bubble performance where he played like unreal and just didn't allow like any sloppy goals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, yet again, sorry if anyone is not a Habs or Leaf fan. This is not the episode for you.
Yeah.
Adam's definitely going to mention that we just didn't talk about any other team. We talked about Calgary. We talked about Edmonton getting relegated in the Super League.
Well, you had a segment who is the best or who has the best future.
This, I don't think Montreal, Toronto will come up in this segment. Best future in the NHL. What team has the best future? So like, even like if one team was going to form or die, nah, just who has the best future? I think.
Are we talking like in the next like how many years?
Like,
because I've said this before, like I know it might sound biased, but I still think the Leafs are just starting. Like I think they're still at the beginning of a dynasty. The only old player is Tavares. No, and he's not old. I mean like old player in the core. Like Sandin's young. I think he'll be a huge player going forward. Brody signed for 4 years. Muzzin signed for like 3 more. Just I don't know.
I was gonna say Ottawa has the best future. I think
Ottawa does have a best future, but like that's only if all these players live up to what they're supposed to be. Because as of now, they don't have like a good team, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but like looking at their players, like Stützle's gonna hit unless something happens. Tkachuk is already is really good.
Tkachuk's really good, yeah.
The Batherson guy's taking a big step this year. Who else? Shabbat's young still. He's good. They found like something in Zaitsev that the Leafs didn't, but mainly just his contract. Like Ottawa can eat it, the Leafs couldn't. See, that was another thing. I don't think Zaitsev was bad. I think it was more just Zaitsev's contract was bad.
He wasn't as bad as like CC or Hainsey. Actually, Hainsey was solid. I can't lie, but
the only guy that hated Zaitsev was Don Cherry.
Zaitsev was bad. He had his good points, but he had his really bad points. But he left the Leafs on a good note. Well, not really. We lost the series, but he was good with Muzzin.
The Leafs get so many. So we're switching with the Leafs in a second, but the Leafs get so many random Russian players sometimes. Like, you know who I thought about right now when we were talking about like Leafs, like Zaitsev on the Leafs? Remember Ozhiganov?
He was playing over Hall. That's the year Justin Hall was scratched for 71 games.
Like, where is that guy now? And then he wore like 92 or something. It was so
weird. He was a dirty number. He was actually, I liked him. I don't know.
Even like this year, like Lettinen, like Lettinen's back in the KHL in like a year.
Yeah, he's definitely back.
I'm actually curious if he's playing for Columbus right now. I want to see him.
He is. He hasn't been putting up points though, and he's like an offensive defenseman.
But yeah, I'd say Ottawa has a pretty good future. I think
they do, but they all have to hit. Like they have to. They don't. I don't know.
Well, they have a lot of like. I feel like they have so many prospects that like most of them will hit.
They can make it work. I think they'll trade not a lot of prospects, but I think they'll trade a few to get some. They need like a star player now. That's good now to help these young guys. Tkachuk's a star right now, but he's also young. So
they need to bring in a Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, they need some veterans.
Just an absolute god.
You're actually lucky you signed up for 4 years.
Yeah, they can have Paul Byron. They can have Paul Byron for veteran league.
What's he gonna do?
He's from Ottawa.
They have Connor Brown, the legend, the Toronto.
Yeah,
legend.
but see, like the Leafs didn't want to get rid of him. He was just a throw-in for them to take.
He just made too much on the fourth line.
Not even that he made too much. It was more that like Ottawa wanted him in return for the Zaitsev contract.
Yeah.
Like they didn't want just Zaitsev. They wanted like a useful player.
But I think he was gone anyway because he made 2.2 mil on the fourth, playing on our fourth line. So that's equivalent to like Spezza, Thornton, and another guy.
I just remember he's had to switch numbers one year because he used to wear Patty Marleau's number. See, another thing we haven't mentioned. Congratulations, Patrick Marleau, breaking the all-time record for games played.
Yeah, that'll never be broken, I don't think.
Maybe because kids come in so young now, but I think the reason it might not be broken is just his longevity. Like he just didn't get injured ever.
See, this is an interesting topic, actually. I had this with, I think it was Luca, my friend Luca. Do you think that with the new way of taking care of yourself that these young players do you think they're going to end up having longer careers, or because they're so good, they're playing such a high level of hockey that they end up having shorter careers?
I don't know. Like, I think they might be longer. I think if Patrick Marleau's record's going to get broken, it's going to be some kid that just reads the Tom Brady book about like nutrition and what water to have and all that stuff, and just like lives off that.
Yeah, because up until now, most players would on average have a career of 20 years? Let's say 20 to 40. Or that's only for like the really
that's like the greats, I think I'd say.
Yeah, that's the greats.
It's hard to tell. Gordie Howe came back at 50 just to play with his kids, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what like put his games up. But I don't know. It's that's so hard. Like they talked about it on sports now. What do you think's like? They said like, what's the one record that'll never be broken? And Anthony Stewart said, what did he say? He said like, he said Gretzky's points record will never be broken. And then Elliot Freeman said there was a goalie.
Yeah, I heard this. That's
like, that was when I heard that, I couldn't believe that. Like that's the record that'll never be broken.
Yeah, 580 starts in a row.
They didn't even have a backup goalie.
Yeah, like what? That'll never happen. But neither were the points. Like you could say them both.
Yeah, like
Gretzky's points won't be broken.
The points is more likely to happen than 580 starts.
Yeah, it is. It is.
580 starts. You don't get 5
that's
starts
physically
in a row
not possible. Yeah, that's physically not possible on your body.
Lennon has 4 assists this year, by the way. That's it. I
think 3 of them came from the Leafs.
Maybe. Well, on the Columbus, he probably doesn't get to leave his own zone in Columbus.
Yeah. Columbus needs.
You think he wanted to come from the KHL to play under John Tortorella?
No, I kind of feel bad for him, but at least he's playing now somewhere.
What was it? 580 divided by 82. He played 7.1 straight seasons. If that was 82 games, dude, and games weren't even 82 games back then, so he probably played like 10 straight seasons. Never even got injured. Never even just missed a game. What happened to
Everything just wasn't good enough, and they had to get a new goal.
What? They saw this guy play one game, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's just never gonna leave the net now."
It's Carey Price. If there was a goalie to do it, it would have been Price.
They just drafted him, and they're like, they're like, "Congrats, dude! You're just our goalie for the next 10 seasons. Don't even think about getting injured or taking time off."
And who is this guy? Like, who's this goalie?
I've never even heard of him. I don't remember
exactly. That's the funny thing. Shouldn't it be like Patrick Raw or something who did this? Like,
no, like
Johnny Bauer. It probably happened way long ago. Like,
I want to know. Like, do you remember what his name was?
No, I honestly don't.
I want to see. This is when you need like a 3-person podcast, so one of us can just like screw off and Google it. Let's just see 1 second.
I'll just continue the combo. Back about if players are going to end up having longer careers or shorter than usual, going in the future. Another thing is you have to be good to play for that long. Like you have to be good enough to crack a roster night in, night out. And now with the game changing so fast, it just keeps getting better and better. There's going to be very few players that can keep up that play. Like McDavid's obviously going to be able, if he could. McDavid's a player that comes to mind that could play until 45 for sure. Because even if he gets slow, he's still going to be pretty fast. Unless the game just gets really fast where everyone's like McDavid, then that's just going to be insane.
No, you're totally right. But So I found him. His name is Glenn Hall. 502 straight starts.
What did he play on Buffalo?
I don't know. I'll click his Wikipedia in a second.
Glenn Hall actually sounds familiar. Philly or Buffalo? Where did he?
Listen to this, Michael. His streak started on October 6th, 1955. It ended November 7th, 1962. This man went into a new decade and played.
This guy played into a new decade.
I want to see his numbers. Like I'm pulling all career statistics.
He must have been insane. Like,
so his first NHL season was 52-53, and his last one was 70-71. Here, let's just see this here. In the years he played, let's see his save percent. Holy shit, no wonder they played this guy. In 1954-55, taking how high goal scoring was back then, he had a 967 save percentage.
How many games?
5, but still.
5, okay, 5 games. Yeah, but that's enough. Yeah, Johnny, I was searching up a goalie the other day that like I just want to see. I think it was like Johnny Bauer. Like I just wanted to see their stats.
They were
like,
gross back then.
A long time ago, and there were so many goals, but like the stats were actually insane. Like the goalie stats, they were like how our goalies are now.
Okay, no, Michael, this guy's actually gross. Taking how high goal scoring was back then, he had a 921 the first year he played a full 70. That year he played 5 straight games was when his streak must have started. Because then every year after that, 70 games. So they probably saw those 5 games and like, this guy just plays every game now. So then, yeah. 921, 926, 920, 930, 920 was what.
But that's like a lot of goalies from that era, which doesn't make sense because goal scoring was so high. So there has to be a reason. Like, were there like 50 shots a game? Like that's the only thing I could think of.
Maybe even though they scored so much, they just muffins were just thrown on the net probably at some points.
Because look, let's say you get 50 shots a game, and you let in like how many goals would they score back then? Like 5 on average?
Probably like 5 per. I'd say 5 per team.
Yeah, like 5 per team. 5 divided by 50 shots, you're at a 900.
Yeah, it's a goal every 10 shots is
900. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he win a Stanley Cup at all?
What team did he play for?
His streak. Oh my God! When did I say his streak started? 1955. Yeah, his streak started in Detroit for 2 years, and then it ended in Chicago. The next like 5.
So he went to a new team, and he still played there.
Chicago saw this guy play every game for Detroit for 2 years, and they're like, he is ours now
for the next 5.
We're like, we're gonna pay him. I want to know if it was like free agency or they're like, we're gonna pay this guy a lot of money because we're gonna pay him the salary of 2 goalies.
Yeah, dude, that's some good return on investment right there.
And taken like the year his streak broke. Sorry, and then I'm so obsessed with this.
No, that's what I was gonna say. How did it break?
I don't know how it broke, but the next 2 years after his streak, in 70 game season, he played 66 and 65. So they gave him
after he broke it. So he basically played even longer than just the 502. Like he was still good after.
I don't know. I want to see it. Okay, he's in the Hall of Fame as he should be, and he's won 2 Stanley Cups, and then he's won another one as a goalie coach. He was Calgary's goalie coach in '89. He won the Conn Smythe one year as he should. Sagan, he won 1 Vezina from that stretch. Actually, no, he didn't. The streak ended in 62. He won his first Vezina in 63.
Long road to the Vezina.
He won in 63, 67, and 69. Bro, this guy played 20 years and played that often. That's longevity right there.
This guy's definitely a legend that I just definitely haven't.
Yeah, the fact that I don't know about this guy.
Like, haven't heard about. But I bet if you search up like top 20 goalies of all time, he's there. Because how can you not be? Like,
I'm Googling how he got to Chicago. I think he was free agent, like Chicago bought him or whatever. That's ridiculous.
Goalies are so like hard to, like being a legend of a goalie is so hard to do.
No, it really is.
Like they don't come around often. You could be good one year, you could be bad the next. Like the fact that Carey Price is a top 5 goalie of all time. Let's just say
arguably, yeah.
Arguably, but he's definitely top 10.
He needs a cup, I think, to be top 5.
Think about how hard it is to break into the top 10 players of all, like forwards of all time. And I'm not saying Price did it easily, but like he doesn't have a cup. He only has like 3 Vezinas. if
I
that.
think he has 2.
Yeah, and the fact that you're already a top 5 goalie,
He got
like
helped.
goaltending is hard.
He's helped big by the fact of like he won an Olympic and a World Cup.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that at least shows that he's won. He's won everywhere but the NHL, AHL, juniors. Just he's had the unfortunate time of playing in Montreal. Unlike
I think Vasilevsky, if Tampa's like is still good for the next like 5 years, Vasilevsky can be up there, one of the best goalies of all time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
How many Vezins does he have? 1. He might win the second this year.
I think he's gonna win a second this year.
He's insane.
Unreal.
But if you look at his analytics, he's not like they would say he's not the best, but I don't know how true those are. But some people say goalie analytics are the most accurate because like that's individual performance, like goals saved above expected. Like I'm pretty sure he's in the negative. Vasilevsky, I might be wrong.
I think Tampa does have a good defense in front of him.
Yeah. Johnny, did you get the Zoom free trial or something? Because it's been longer.
I was gonna say like this has been longer than 40 minutes.
Yeah, we should end this soon.
We'll end it in a sec. I know. I've been waiting for like the 10 minutes to pop up because that's kind of when we know like okay, let's wrap it up here. But that's what I was trying to think. I was like, okay, have we been on this for way longer than 40 minutes and we just haven't noticed, or is it just with 2 people? It doesn't seem as long. Because like I was nervous to end it. Then it's like, oh, this was a 15-minute podcast.
Yeah, but if you're sticking with us and you're still listening,
yeah,
we appreciate you.
You're clearly a Montreal or Toronto fan.
Yeah, or a Glenn Hall fan. Is that his name, Glenn Hall?
Glenn Hall, yeah. What a god. I'm making him the thumbnail.
We gotta name the episode.
Imagine trying to find a PNG of the guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But just because I don't know how much time we have left or whatever. Yeah, I'm recording too. That's good. Imagine I wasn't recording. Adam leaves, it all goes terribly. Who's a dark horse for the cup? So not like your Toronto, Tampa, Florida. Like who's a dark horse?
You would say Florida's not a dark horse because I would have picked them.
Okay,
I still feel like people are under.
I didn't mean Florida. I meant like Tampa. My bad, not Florida.
Yeah. Then I probably would go with. I'm looking at the things now, the standings. Like Winnipeg, if Winnipeg can come out of the North, if they beat Toronto, that means I think they're good enough to go all the way. So they could be a dark horse, but I don't think they're coming out. I think it would be Florida because if Florida gets past Carolina and Tampa Bay Lightning, that's insane. They're going all the way.
That Central is just an absolute dogfight for first place because the difference between first and second is so crucial there. Is the difference between playing Nashville or Florida, Tampa, Carolina. Like it's crucial.
Yeah, I'd probably say Florida. Who'd you say?
See, I like the team, but it's just their division is what stops me from making them the dark horse.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that because I was thinking of them too.
Like they've won 7 in a row. I just saw this.
Yeah, right, dude, they're good. They're good defensively.
But see, their 7 in a row is Coyotes, Sharks, Coyotes, Kings, Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
what about a team that you think will disappoint?
Toronto Maple Leafs when they lose to Montreal in the first round.
That's who you're picking, eh? You stick by it that the Leafs are going on first round.
Well, now I got to.
Yeah, now you have to. You can't turn back.
If you had played Edmonton, I might have said, I think like I would have probably picked you guys in like our playoff preview to beat Edmonton, but I can't pick you to pick Montreal. I
think Vegas could disappoint.
Like a disclaimer, yeah, that's a good one. A disclaimer to anyone that watches our eventual playoff preview: don't listen to me and Michael's bracket. Pick Adam's bracket.
Pick Adam's bracket, yeah.
Because me and Michael will have our 2 teams winning the Stanley Cup.
Okay, but Adam had Winnipeg coming 7th, didn't he?
Yeah, don't listen to Adam either. Just don't listen to any of us.
And he had Pittsburgh coming 7th as well.
I had Pittsburgh coming 6th.
I had him coming 2nd. That's what I'm proud of.
I said Adam had Buffalo in the playoffs. That's what Adam needs to be charged for. Adam had Buffalo at the 4th.
Thank God I had them just outside.
Yeah, so it's not.
I didn't want to go over.
No, but you picked Washington to like be 7th.
Oh, I had them 6th. Yeah.
Yeah. See,
I don't know who I had last.
We all had some bad calls.
Oh, I had Philly low. And you guys tripped me that too. I almost nailed. Oh no,
I was high on Florida. I was
high on the Rangers.
I said Bobrovsky's gonna bounce back, but he kind of did.
Is he even playing right now, or Spencer Knight's getting the starts?
I don't know. Spencer Knight's played 1 game, 9-7.
Kind of been split the whole year between them.
the Dreger guy or whatever his name is.
He's been good, yeah. Do you think Dallas makes it over Nashville?
See, that if I'm Carolina, I hope not, because that's a scary matchup. Because apparently I read that they might get Sagan back for the playoffs.
How long has he been out?
He's been out all year. He hasn't played a single game.
The whole year, yeah. I could see Dallas be getting that spot. I think the East is locked. I think the North is locked, and I think the West is probably locked. Yeah. The only one I could see entering that's not in is Dallas.
Chara fought Matt Martin tonight. I'm seeing on Twitter.
I hate when Chara fights because like has he ever lost?
I don't know if it's gonna focus, but like just look at this. Like it's not gonna focus.
The reach is not fair, and I don't think that's the first time they fought.
But like I wish it would focus so that you could see like the look on Char's face is just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, he's now the oldest player in NHL to pick up a fighting major.
He's gonna get he's gonna be the oldest player to take a shot at net soon. Like this guy.
He's 44.
He's 44. That's insane. And that's a player who takes care of their body because Char's vegan.
Yeah. He's had to have he had to have some big injuries because there's no way he like isn't up there with Marleau's or Howe's record.
Yeah, no, I think he's like 100 games off. There's someone that's playing right now that's 100 games off Marleau.
Maybe Jumbo.
It is Jumbo actually. If Jumbo played 2 more seasons, he could break it, but he won't.
But you got thinking too, like people are saying like, oh, Marleau's record, like he's just playing now he came back this year just to beat the record. If there wasn't the 2 lockouts, he probably would have broke the record already.
Yeah, 2 lockouts and the short
and COVID.
Yeah, COVID from
last year. Last year he went to Pittsburgh. I'm surprised he didn't go to like a contender somewhat this year.
Oh man, I still feel so bad that we couldn't win a cup for him because he's not winning a cup unless
he's in San Jose. Unless he comes back next year and then a contender.
And what contender is going to take him next year? Like he's not good.
Last year Pittsburgh took him, and then Montreal just ended that.
And he wasn't good for Pittsburgh. He wasn't even good for the Leafs the last year he was on the only season where he was good was actually. Well, I guess he only played 2 years for us, but the first season he scored 27 goals. He was good that year.
He was good.
Scored a big playoff goal against Boston.
He was good with my boy Tomas. That was weird.
That was weird.
That was like the only time I ever cheered for the Leafs. I was like, yeah.
I hated that guy, honestly. He scored a playoff goal for us. I still didn't like him. He scored a
big goal, I remember.
I was going nuts, even though I didn't like the guy. Like I couldn't picture him in a Leaf uniform.
It was
even
so
when
weird.
He was in a uniform.
Yeah, I feel like that's so weird. He was like loaned there because he came back to us the next year for like to play his 1,000 game. And then he just dipped. But yeah, I think I got a free trial here on Zoom because this is if I end this podcast and it is not over 40 minutes, because you got to think we haven't even got the 10-minute notice, which means it'd be under 30 right now. There's no way.
It's you. I don't know what happened, but
you guys got a long episode this time with only 2 people. Yet again, thank you for listening. If you're
oh, you know what it is? Is it 2 people? Maybe it's 2 people. It's not. There's no time limit.
Do you think so?
Maybe.
I don't know, but this has definitely been over 40 minutes for sure. Honestly, quickly, I guess we'll preview our team's week just to like keep our tradition of previewing our team's week and, talking more about Montreal and Toronto. So, Michael, what's happening for Toronto the rest of the week?
We better win tomorrow because we've only won 2 in a row, and I don't want to lose another after that long 5-game losing streak. So we better win tomorrow. And then I think there's another team in between the next 3. We play you guys 3 in a row. I know that.
See, that's not 3 in a row for us.
See, that's so weird. I like all the other teams series, it's just in a row, for both teams.
Because I was looking at the schedule to end. Next week, we play Monday, Montreal, Toronto. Then we don't play again until Thursday. But the Wednesday, Montreal plays someone. So we'll be on a back-to-back second game against you. Then we play Saturday.
Yeah, see, we play you guys 3 times in a row. We play you guys tomorrow. Then we play Vancouver twice. We better slap the shit out of them.
We better slap the shit out of them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, especially for you guys.
Yeah. The one time I cheered for the Leafs last game, I had freaking no save Dave in net.
Johnny, what would you do if we somehow beat you guys 4-0?
And then you lose to Vancouver
4
twice.
games to none. We lose both games against Vancouver. That's a huge leg up they get on you guys.
I'd be so angry.
And then if that actually happens, then the rest is up in their hand. You guys can't even do anything about that. Because even if you win the rest of your games, They still have games in hand against.
No,
I think Ottawa. Don't they versus Ottawa like the last?
They have one more game against Ottawa. They kind of blew it. They played Ottawa already 3 times, and they're 1-2.
Who's the to be determined games? Like the last couple games.
See, that's what. Like we'll keep talking about this because it's very like this year has been interesting, but there's like a week of just North games at the end.
Yeah, there's Calgary.
It's Calgary, Vancouver.
Is from May 16th to 19th, just them two.
And we're done at that point.
Yeah. You guys are done the 12th.
See, but what I was gonna say is you think if those games mean nothing for the standings, they just don't play them?
They mean nothing for the standings. Wouldn't they always mean something for the standings?
Let's
what
say
the draft lottery.
They just do point percentage.
Oh no, they wouldn't be in the. None of them are they even bottom 10? Wait, who is it? It's Ottawa. Yeah.
It'd just be point percentage, but it's just Calgary.
Calgary's in the bottom 10 too.
It's just 4 games of Calgary, Vancouver. So what I'm saying,
you know what? They could play those games and start the playoffs.
Well, see, I don't think they would do that. Like that's like not stupid, but like because no one would watch. No one would watch. And they like the players realistically would not want to play. But then like for that to happen, like because the only thing Vancouver can catch realistically is Montreal. Montreal ends on May the 12th. From then, Vancouver has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left.
Oh, dude, they play 5 games in what?
In a week.
How is it impossible?
I don't know, but see, so I think they have to play them because what are the odds of Montreal has to be 11 points clear for them just all 5 to. What are they going to do? Like they play them until Vancouver can't make it mathematically, like a certain amount of points, and then they just say, okay, they're done. But then that's like it's not like as a Montreal fan, it's kind of scary too because like Calgary's probably going to field no one.
Yeah.
But the Montreal's like saving grace Vancouver wise is the fact that after this game against Ottawa tomorrow night, they have 2 against the Leafs, 4 against Winnipeg, 4 against Edmonton.
Who's this? Is this
Vancouver?
Yeah.
That's 10 tough games.
Yeah, that's tough games. I think it's a lock.
Yeah, it would take an 18-wheeler, but
dude, it better be a lock. I can't believe we're actually going to meet in the first round.
I know it's crazy.
We thought at the beginning of the season we said it would be second round if anything, and we still didn't have confidence they would meet because it just seems.
But I'd be more confident that like second round is hard because they both have to win their playoff series.
Yeah,
because I think we were under the impression.
That's the other thing.
We were under the impression Toronto was going to be 1-2, which they were up until like March.
But that would have been more intense.
Yeah,
in the second
winner
round.
of the North.
But either way, it's intense. Like,
it's going to be crazy.
That's a 6 series.
But I think during the playoffs, especially if it's Montreal-Toronto, we should do like a quick podcast after every episode. I mean, after every game.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
or watch
live game.
Yeah, like watch alongs if
maybe we could do one. Maybe
if COVID's not crazy in Ontario, but I'm assuming a long episode tonight.
Dude, what if it's like an hour and like 30 minutes?
I'm actually so concerned. I don't remember when we started. That's why I can't even judge. But it's definitely gonna be a long time. If you listen to the whole thing,
it's been an hour and like 20.
If you listen to the whole thing, you're a trooper. Definitely a Montreal-Toronto fan. Hopefully we're back to the full panel of 3 people next week. But big game tomorrow night, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.